Hey now, metalheads, it is Blackmetalwerewolf making a brand new video for you this week. And today, what we will be talking about is Metalhead Tribalism. So I guess we should start off by defining exactly what tribalism is. As an act, it's pretty much just groups of people coming together and making tribes, villages, communities, that sort of thing. But from a behavioral standpoint, tribalism is someone who has a fierce loyalty or a very strong urge to defend their group or tribe or whatever you want to call it that they are a part of. And when you really put it that way, I can think of no better group that defines or encompasses tribalism than metalheads. So many metalheads are incredibly passionate about metal music and the subculture that really encompasses it all, and they're passionate about it and they will defend it tooth and nail. I remember when I was a teenager, if someone were to talk shit about metal or the bands I like, I was willing to stand up and defend it. Not physically, of course, only verbally, because if I decided to stand up for it physically, I probably would have got the shit kicked out of me. But that doesn't change the fact that I was willing, that was the hill I was willing to die on. I was so passionate about it, and that was the group that I really connected with, that I had very tribalistic tendencies. That I was going to say, these are the people I want to be around, these are the people I have loyalty to, and these are the people I'm going to defend. Now, what I suppose what we should be asking is whether or not tribalistic tendencies are a good thing or a bad thing. Now, generally, I think tribalism is a good thing. I know these days people have been equating tribalism with racism and xenophobia. Now, I'll try not to get too philosophical on you guys, but I just don't agree with that. Because humans are just tribalistic animals. Ever since the dawn of man, there have been recordings of people coming together, making groups and communities, and fiercely defending those groups and communities, to defend their families, their friends, their loved ones, all sorts of relationships, to defending their resources against outside invaders. Now, I don't consider that xenophobic or racist. I just view that as people doing what they have to do to protect their loved ones, their families, that kind of thing. Now, like I said, I'll try not to get too philosophical, because I am really equating early man creating tribes and protecting their family and resources to metalheads having a very big fandom of their music. I know those things don't really equal out, but you can see how metalheads, in a way, have become their very own tribe. Now, is it a good thing or a bad thing for a metalhead to really fiercely defend their music? I don't think it's a bad thing, but I don't necessarily think it's a good thing, because I remember being a fucking teenager and how cringy it would have been for me to defend metal against some jerk-off who wasn't even listening anyway. So in my head, I was fighting a righteous cause, but to the outsider, they either didn't give a shit or just point and laugh at some dumbass getting all red-faced and upset trying to defend metal. So, it may not be a horrible thing, as in I'm not doing anything morally or ethically wrong, but I certainly made myself look like a jackass. Now, as I've obviously gotten into adulthood, the need to fiercely defend my taste in music has really died down. I mean, if someone wants to make fun of metal, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna fucking get into a fight with someone physically or verbally over music taste? Of course not. That's not worth my time or energy. But obviously when you're a teenager and when you're super enthusiastic about things, like as teenagers do, especially when it comes to heavy metal, yeah, I can definitely see that's the hill they want to die on. That is something they are willing to defend, no matter how stupid or cringeworthy it makes them look. Now, I know that I just said that I generally think tribalism is a good thing, even though it may end with some poor teenage metalhead getting into red-faced fights that aren't quite worth fighting. But let's look at the possible downside of tribalism in metal. I'm sure you're all aware of the concept of elitism in metal. Now, I can think of no better example than hardcore tribalistic behavior than someone going on these elitist rants about killing all posers or getting rid of them. Because in reality, in their head, they view metal or the community or whatever as this pure group, and it is filled with imposters or posers that need to be exiled. That is hardcore tribe instincts, don't you think? It's like, these people aren't with us, they aren't about us, they don't encompass our values, let's get them out of here, kill all posers. That is hardcore tribalistic behavior to like an extreme amount. So obviously I think, I don't want to say it's bad because they're not really doing anything wrong, they're just making themselves look like assholes. And I think it's kind of pathetic for anyone above the age of 16 or 17 to really care about, you know, getting rid of the posers, because, you know, honestly, what are you going to do? Are you going to break into someone's home that you think is a poser, rip up all their shirts, burn their CDs, and say, you're not part of the group anymore, and then give them a good swift kick in the ass and, you know, whisk away into the night? Even though that would make a very good I Am Legend-esque skit that I would possibly like to make in the future, that would actually be really funny. They're not going to do it. I mean, are you going to risk an assault charge because you think someone's a fucking poser? Is that really what this is about? So, as though I think that tribalism, for the most part, is a good thing, it can be taken to some extremes, but I think the vast majority of metalheads think that kind of behavior is just asinine. They don't take it seriously. Those people are usually generally mocked and made fun of. And there's a lot to make fun of too, because it's just funny to point at some jerk-off like that and think, oh my god, this person is taking this so seriously, you know, it's time to move out of the mother's basement, right? But with that being said, I do just want to bring up that I think that excluding people from the group can actually yield some benefits. And I don't mean kicking someone out of the group because they're a poser or they don't listen to the right bands or whatever. That's just silliness. But I do have to say that I've been to plenty of concerts where I've seen someone acting not right, as in they're being a jerk-off, they're, you know, pushing girls, they're assaulting people, yada yada yada. And those type of people are corrected very quickly, if not by the security guards at the venue, but by the metalheads themselves. So I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. If someone's going to be a fucking asshole at a concert, I think they might deserve to get roughed up a bit and maybe kicked out. I know some people might think what I just said is a bit extreme, but I don't think there's anything wrong if someone is acting really bad in the group to actually say, okay, you're not doing the right thing, so let's not associate with this asshole anymore. I can see where people will disagree with me on that, but I'm pretty firm in what I just said. But now, of course, I want to get your guys' opinion on all of this. Do you believe that there are tribalistic behaviors in metal as a whole, as a community, or do you think it's just not there? Do you think tribalism is a good thing or a bad thing? Do you have stories of your own tribalistic behaviors that you now recognize, or have you seen someone else do these kinds of behaviors? Please give me your thoughts, your stories, your anecdotes, anything like that down in the comment section. I'd love to know what you guys have to say about all of this. And now, like my past videos, I either do an album warning or an album recommendation, and today is another recommendation. It is the latest Tribulation album, When the Gloom Becomes Sound. Over the past few years, I've become a very big fan of Tribulation. They have a very good way of mixing doom, goth, and black metal to create these very haunting and memorable songs. And this album, like their past ones, really hit it out of the park. My personal favorite tracks are Hour of the Wolf, Dirge of the Dying Soul, and The Wilderness, but the entire album is good from beginning to end, and I think a lot of you will really enjoy it. So once again, that is Tribulation, When the Gloom Becomes Sound. Check it out. You guys will really like it. So that's it for today's video. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment letting me know what you thought of today's video, checking out some of my past videos, and sharing them with a few of your friends while you're at it. If you'd like to keep up with me on a more daily basis, you can follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. I also have a P.O. box open. All of that info is down in the description. I also have patches for sale, so if you'd like to get your very own, you can click right over here. There's also a link down in the description. Overall, thank you very much for watching, guys, and don't forget to stay brutal.